Okay, Mrs. Gage-Grey has been at the Child Development Agency for many years, and she holds an MSc degree in Human Resource Development from the University of the West Indies and a Bachelor of Business Administration from the University of Technology. She also holds a postgraduate diploma from MIND in Senior Public Sector Management, and she's married with 2 children. She has an illustrious career in the public service, and we'd like to welcome her, Mrs. Rosalie Gage-Grey, Child Development Agency, one of the most important agencies for children in Jamaica.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yes? I stand on the protocol presented earlier and just want to say that it's good for us to be here to share with you. We want to say Happy Teachers' Day to the teachers in the house. Without the teachers, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to stand up here confidently to present to you this afternoon. We're going to start the proceedings with one of our videos that we've been using for Act Right, Treat Me Right campaign. So please listen or watch.
Remember, stay in your bed. Don't come out. You hear me? Don't come out. Oh my girl, caught in the sand.
Bubbles, your house have on down. Neglecting our children can cost them their lives. Children have a right to be protected. Act right. Treat the children right. A message from the Child Development Agency.
So much off. Oh, is that does you be getting up? And damn know me at all, man.
What? You can carry you in every port you think up, madam.
Body and body, my G, straight. Tell me something. When last I see them you? Even I take care of them, my youth. Them and them mother, they all over the place. We don't have time for that.
So bro, you really think having a bag of you make your father?
Man up! A real father take responsibility for his children. Act right. Treat the children right. A message from the Child Development Agency.
Thank you. So how can better parenting keep children out of state care? We have seen before Dr. Charles spoke to the parenting. Heard Dr. Kim Scott gave an excellent presentation, rather like the fact of child resiliency or resilience of the parent, because if we can teach our children to be resilient, then they are able to withstand the pressures that come to them. So I want to talk a little about the role of the CDA. We have 3 main agencies in child protection: the OCR, the OCA, and the CDA. And then we'll go into some of the things that we have been doing in terms of keeping children safe and keeping them in their homes. The family is the preferred place for a child. So the CDA is an executive agency. We have just been shifted to the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. We have responsibility for providing care and protection for children deemed to be in need of care and protection or otherwise at risk. Core business of the CDA, we provide quality care for promoting the welfare of children in this care of the state. That means children who have gone through the court proceedings and are made wards of the state. We safeguard children from abuse through advocacy and public education, similar to the 2 videos you saw earlier. Our aim is to maintain children within their families wherever possible, and supporting those families in meeting their essential social care needs. We do investigation of reports of cases of child abuse, primarily through reports from the OCR, but we also have our intake services in our parish offices where persons can walk in and make those reports, and they are investigated. We do license and monitor residential childcare facilities. The Child Care and Protection Act, which was came into being in 2004, speaks to the best interest of the child, and it is that whenever we act with respect to a child, we must always seek to act in their best interest. Children are entitled to be protected from abuse, neglect, and harm or threat of harm. A family is a preferred environment for the care and upbringing of children, and the responsibility for protection of children rests primarily with the parents. We are not in the business of taking away parental rights and their responsibility, and I was happy for the presentation before. It laid the foundation to say that as parents, it is our responsibility for the children. If with available support services, a family can provide a safe and nurturing environment for a child, support services should be provided. So we should be facilitating parents in taking care of their children. Where the child is of sufficient age and maturity and is capable of forming his or her own views, those views should be taken into account when decisions relating to the child are made. I'm not sure a lot of us listen to the children or hear them or ask them, what do you want for dinner? And most times they say KFC, but you can guide them in the choices. Or the clothes they want to wear, simple things involving the children. And if they are of a certain age, they should have a say in the decisions that are taken about them. We heard about the cost of the battle between parents. We get a lot of those cases now, and it gets very traumatic for the children because there usually is claim and counterclaim. So one parent will report to the OCR that the child is being abused, and then the other counterclaim. So we get two reports for the same family that has to be investigated, and when you really get to the bottom of it, it is a cost of the battle, and both parents are sometimes fighting literally to retain the children. Kinship ties and child's attachment to the extended family should be preserved if possible. We have in Jamaica a culture where grandparents and extended families do take care of children. And we see, you see some adults now and you say, you must grow the granny, based on some of those skills and values that they have. Decisions related to children should be made and implemented in a timely manner. This is something that we have as a work in progress, being able to get to those cases of reports in a timely manner and acting in the best interest of the children when it comes to dispensing with their cases, whether through the courts or through our own proceedings. So who is a child in need of care and protection? The CDA's primary responsibility and mandate is with respect to these children who are in need of care and protection. These are children having no parent or guardian, or having a parent or guardian unfit to exercise care and guardianship, or is falling to bad associations, exposed to moral danger, or beyond control. And I can tell you this, beyond control, we are seeing vast amount of children that are falling in this category that we have to help each day. It's being cared for in circumstances in which the child's physical or mental health or emotional state is being severely impaired, or there's a substantial risk that it will be seriously impaired. Is a child in respect of whom any offense mentioned in the second schedule, that's the second schedule of the Child Care and Protection Act, basically sexual offenses that have been committed, is a member of the same household as a child in respect of whom offense has been committed. So if a child is abused in a particular household, then we consider all other children in the household to be at risk. Or is a member of the same household as a person who has been convicted of such an offense. So if somebody, the neighbor next door, abuses a child in another home within the area, those children within that household are considered to be at risk. And so our investigations would go into, is the child at risk in the environment that the abuse was committed? And for the purposes of the subsection 1 mentioned before, the fact that a child is found destitute, wandering without any settled place of abode, and without visible means of subsistence, begging or receiving alms or loitering for that purpose, shall without prejudice be to the generality of the provisions of Section 1 be evidence that the child is exposed to moral danger. So a child that is on the streets, a child that is have no sense of abode, is a child who is in need of care and protection. We looked at the statistics as it relates to our children in Jamaica, and the statistics for December 31, 2014 said we had approximately 800,000 children in the population, which is about 30% of the population in Jamaica today. We have our children, about 50-50 split between boys and girls. On average, 10 in every 1,000 children are the subject of a child abuse or maltreatment report, referred to the OCR. Sisoka received approximately 1,000 reports concerning children 0 to 17, the majority of them being girls, almost all of them being girls. And 6 in every 10 children have reported being bullied, with close to 70% of them happening on the playground or within a school environment. And this is as a result of a survey which we conducted on bullying, supported by UNICEF, and the findings we have been disseminating and developing a plan of action to see how we can, as a ministry, address these issues. So the situation of children in Jamaica and the context in which we work really tells us that the task we have is an awesome one. It's one that needs all hands on deck. It cannot be done by just state agent, and we see the wonderful work that's being done in the communities through NGOs. Claudette here does an excellent job in Spanish Town with Children's First, and we have so many others who, without their support, we would not have been able to cope with the numbers that we are getting. As at March 31st, 6 in every 1,000 children in Jamaica reside in the child protection sector. It's a total of 4,400 children we have in direct state care. About 58% of them are in what we call our family environment. That's our foster care. Some are on supervision, meaning that the court gives an order for the child to stay in their home while an officer from the CDA supervises them. Due to the reports we have been getting, and when we do our investigations, we recognize that, and I mentioned earlier that if a family can be provided with some support, then we should give that support. We created the Children and Family Support Unit, and they have been doing a marvelous job in trying to maintain families and also to provide support, and this is through referral to other agencies. So we have been able to provide homes through Food for the Poor, for example, for families who can keep their children, can take care of them, but need some place for them to be. And so we provide that kind of a support. And we have walk-ins in our offices, meaning persons who just come up to our offices, and this is about 8,000 children and families who access our services. And this is not in addition to the 4,000 that we mentioned who are in direct care. I'd just like to share with you, over the last holiday period we had, a lot of children, we heard Dr. Charles speak of it, using the social media, and a message came into our Facebook page about a child who said she needed help, or she said help. And so our PR, who monitors the social media, got in touch with her, got in touch with the team leader for the parish, and over that whole weekend, working with her, we got her to get to the police to give the statement. And over that weekend, we were able to get her to a safe place and to lock up her father, who was molesting her. And this happened for about 5 or so years, but she just had the courage to send that help message. So we have to use the means in which the children can get and communicate to us, not just into our offices, which are closed on the weekends, but that at any time they feel the need to report, they can have that access to report to us. Services and programs intake, of course, investigation and court services, meaning we take matters before the court. We do social inquiry reports that are presented to the court, and decisions are taken by the magistrates with respect to the children. Residential care services, we have some that are operated directly by the government, and we have the majority, over 40, which is licensed by the government but are privately operated, whether through faith-based organizations or NGOs or individuals. Our Living in Family Environment program, we have been emphasizing this for a number of years. We are saying the family is the best place for the child, so we are pushing our foster care program or family integration. They might have to remove a child for a period, but we work with them to get them back into their family and their family situation. Our adoption services and supervision order, as I explained earlier. So we have been responding with limited resources, of course, but we believe that we don't use resources as a crutch to say that we can't act. We use whatever resources we have to fulfill our mandate as best as possible. I think our ministers were in Parliament trying to defend the budget just now before we came. But we use the resources we had. So the Children and Family Support Unit has been working very well to provide the support and services to families and the referrals. A lot of cases that doesn't need to go before the court. It could be counseling support. The officers in CFSU, their caseloads are running at 200. So it's a number of children that needs this kind of a support. Our first responders, one of the slides Dr. Scott had spoke to grief and children who experience trauma through violence in their communities or witnessing other persons or close relatives who have died. What we do with our first responders, so all our investigators are first responders, and we also have other select officers who are trained to be first responders. And what they do is, once there is a fire, and I mean we in the southeast region, which is this region, since January have seen upwards of 10 fires in downtown Kingston. And so we have to respond. We respond with the other first responders, the police, the fire brigade, and we get the social information on the families to see what support they would need and how we can link them to the state agents. You know, sometimes it can be very bureaucratic to get to the state agents to get the support. So our Children and Family Support Unit works very well with the first responders to provide the support to families who have, it's as simple as, you know, so the 3-year-old who was killed in Montego Bay, we did make contact with that family, because sometimes you have to help parents to move on, difficult as it is, and to show them the signs. So there are other children, and when one child is affected, you have to think about the school that the child went to, so those people are affected, the community that the child is from. So we do provide some support with other state agents, Victim Services Division, the police, so to provide some support. We tell them about the signs to look for. A child might be in such a shock that they are not exhibiting any known signs at the time. Or we assume that because it's a 4-year-old, that they don't understand and they are not being affected by it. So we provide that early intervention. And why we started the first responders as a formal program is that when we get children in our care and the counselors and social workers go through and develop the profiles, we recognize that most times it's an incident, an emergency, a fire, or a husband being killed, a father being killed, and the child was not helped in the early stages and then start to exhibit behavioral problems later on. The multi-agency project, which we operate with the OCR, OCA, the Sissoko, and ourselves, we have 2 officers that works out of the Ruthven Road Sissoko office in Kingston, and they work with the police there. I don't know if you're aware of the setup there, that there are doctors there. So once a child is brought in, they are interviewed by our social workers alongside the police, so the child don't have to be re-traumatized by telling the story over and over again. They are examined. To maintain the family contact, usually the police would do the criminal aspect of the investigation. So sometimes the children are held, so it's a mother carrying a child and they are held there until the police pick up the perpetrator. Then they can go back home and don't have to come into direct care. So it has been working very well. Since 2010, they have seen over 3,000 cases and 98% of those cases don't have to come into direct state care. Our psychology unit provides counseling and psychosocial support to our children. We have the partnership with Jamaica Youth Counseling that provides free counseling support to our children in state care and reduced rates to our staff who, as you would imagine, who have to investigate these cases would have need for some therapy as well. Our Smiles Mobile is a project, is a retrofitted 35-seater bus that has 2 psychologists that goes to our children's homes and places of safety to do screening, assessment and some intervention for the children in residential care. And so we have been working over the years with our partners. Parenting, as the minister has said, is going to be a big focus. We have been doing some work, now that we are with education, where we have the Parenting Support Commission. We work so much more closely with them to do the interventions to parents within the country as we seek to build parents. Our responsibilities, we don't want to take children from parents. We want parents to be resilient, to be able to take care of their own children in their own environment. So we are committed to create a Jamaica fit for children where they can learn, play and thrive. We continue to partner with other agencies in the child protection sector and we'll increase our efforts working with families. We can win the battle to rescue, restore and build the capacity of our children to achieve their highest potential. This requires a unity of purpose and commitment on the part of all of us. Thank you.